Today I am a survivor because I found me. I found who I am. I prayed, I meditated. I remembered who my child was. And I remember why I needed to be here. I survived what I survived, and I am thankful. I am grateful every day, still. I'm a survivor.
I am a survivor. I found my light again. I am walking in it, and I'm not looking back.
I am a survivor. I chose me, and that's why I'm a survivor. So, for all you ladies that want to be a survivor, choose you. I can give you the statistics about domestic violence, but that will be just the total of people who report it. The act of domestic violence not only comes from physical, it comes from verbal as well. Men and women experience domestic violence every day. Today I speak with Tashima and Divine on their experience of domestic violence, even mine. Some may hear these things and have experienced it or have not experienced it, but the importance of this conversation is the awareness about it. It will never be a change if we don't. Okay, y'all, let's start. Hi guys, it's your girl G9, and today is an episode that you don't want to miss. Especially, well, let me just say this. It's maybe trigger warning, but especially if you ever face domestic violence in your life or seen someone that's faced any type suffer from domestic violence, anything like that. This may be the show for you. It may not. If you don't want to watch it, you should still watch it. But okay, I got my girl artist Divine in the building.
What's up?
And I got Tashima. You know I call you Shima, but it's Tashima. Book writer, right? Writing a book right now.
You have a lot of I have everything.
You have a lot of slashes?
Yeah, ///.
Okay, slash.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about domestic violence today, and I just want to start off like you guys. How are you doing, Divine? How are you today?
I'm wonderful. God woke me up. I'm here with y'all, so I'm solid.
Yeah. How about you? Tashima?
I'm good. I like that. I'm right there with you. Like I'm in this moment. I'm with you. This is family. Yeah.
I've been on Tashima since high school.
Yes.
115 bus.
315.
115, 315 to the 108. We don't want to get there.
When you grow up together, it's like we just cousins.
Yeah, we kind of cousins.
We just
family.
Yeah.
Family. And Divine, I've been knowing her for about a year now.
I think it's been over that because that was before COVID.
Yeah, because we was locked down for like a couple of months. Okay, guys, so to the victims of domestic violence, I want to say we're not speaking just for you, we're speaking from our perspective, our opinions, our feelings from it, and if you have any questions, DM me, anything. But anybody want to start with you, Divine? Domestic violence, physical abuse, or mental, you think will be something that, which one is worse for you? The mental or physical abuse?
I think all abuse is terrible. All abuse is terrible. It can all affect you, and I think the sad thing about it is that a lot of people don't understand that they're in a domestic situation because of lack of physical abuse. People only categorize it to be physical, but it's mental, it's emotional. If things are being thrown around you, that's physical abuse. If your property is being destroyed, that's physical abuse. It's not just somebody throwing you in between the washer and dryer and all that wild stuff that people will try to say, no, it's only a domestic situation if it looks like this. But I feel anytime your mental feels confined, your physical feels confined, your spirit feels confined, that's in fact domestic abuse. When someone wants to stop what you're doing and pretty much cover that light that you naturally have and just put you in a place of darkness, that's domestic abuse.
Yeah. What about you, Tashina?
Same. I think when you think about it, and especially if you've experienced it or you've gone through it, and I don't even know if you can put a title on it. You know what I mean? Like abuse is just abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, when it happened or things that happened, it isn't just a singular thing, like she's saying, right? It's not just like, it's not just like, because people would ask me like, you let somebody hit you like that? And I'm like, oh, I wasn't hit though. You know, I wasn't hit. no one hit me. You know, there was once where there was a hit, but that was literally like a one time. But it was other abuse. It was other things that were going on that was abusive to me and towards me, right? And so, yeah, it's like it's bigger than just the physical abuse, right? Like it's not just emotional and it's not just mental. It's just like it's a whole bubble of abuse.
I think it's a bubble. I think that people don't realize they are in abusive situations because they only hear the physical. I know for me, when I experienced domestic violence, it was verbal first. It was, bitch, you ain't this and you ain't that. And it was a lot of you. And I'm not saying use or that word you, but just experience what I experienced. It was a lot of putting me down. It was a lot of you're not worth it, or you're not gonna do this, and you're not. To me, when people you're in a relationship with start putting you down as a person, like you have to look at that. Like, why are you even with me? You don't even like me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it starts with that.
Yes.
Do you like the person? Because a lot of times we love the person and don't like the person, and then we use the love part on why we stay. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was physically and mentally, I feel, are the same thing. Like, I feel like it's, if you were mentally more or physically more, it's the same thing to me because you still feel the same. Like, you still feel the same. You still feel like less than. You feel, and you know, people look at me like, girl, your mouth, and it's not about your mouth. And you don't know who that person is that took control of this mouth, you know, or took control. When you're not in control no more, to me, is when you're going through some type of domestic situation.
Absolutely.
And they say 10 million cases are reported in the U.S. alone a year. 10 million. That means mostly everybody. And 1 out of 3 men and women suffer from domestic violence every day. So 1 out of 3, 1, 2, 3. You feel what I'm saying? It's so close to home. So I want to know from you guys, do you think it starts from childhood abuse, seeing it, or experiencing your parents or stuff like that? What do you guys think? Divine, you can start.
So am I speaking from, I guess, the abuser or the person who is, I guess, being abused?
Yeah, you can speak from either one if you like.
Okay.
Either one, because they both, to me, is both a problem.
Facts.
The victim is a problem.
Yeah.
The person that is the problem, I guess not the problem. What would you call them?
The abuser.
The abuser. Yeah.
You're
So
enabling it if you stay. Not, again, to talk against anyone that ended up staying, because I was in for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you ultimately are enabling that person because you're still allowing that to continue.
So so from that, I would say that yes, it does start from childhood, because I feel like who we become as adults, we're either now grown children. I still feel like a child in a lot of ways, but I feel like when it comes to, I guess, speaking from the situation I was in, where I was with someone who it just felt like a lot of things in his life were unfulfilled, right? And a lot of the anger, a lot of the, like you said, like, damn, do you want to be with me or do you not?
Like
the aggression, or it was all projection of things that he lacked, and things that whether he wasn't receiving it as a grown man, he definitely wasn't getting it as a child. So like that validation, like even in front of other people, he needed that validation. And it was like, it was weird, because when you're in a relationship with, of course we want to uplift our kings and whatever the hell. But it's like, it's crazy when it's like, dang, but I'm finna get it in the car. Or we're finna get into it when we get home. And it's like, but at the same time, I'm trying to validate you. I'm trying to give you those natural things in a relationship that I just showed up wanting to give you, and I would hope to receive. But when there is, in fact, that area that your whole relationship feels like a gray area, right? It has to come from childhood. And it sucks, because it's like, even if that's pointed out, because that was something that I pointed out before, I'm like, dang, well, can I understand you? What happened when you grew up? What happened in your household? Did you have your mom? Did you have your dad? Like, who were your male figures? You know, everything turned into an attack versus a conversation. So I'm like, man, this has to be a childhood thing, because it's almost impossible as adults for us to sit here and have a logical conversation, because there's such a disconnect, because I'm now the blame for things that you kind of showed up with.
Yeah.
So I think childhood for sure.
You think childhood?
I agree. Oh, absolutely, childhood. Like
Yeah.
it's stemmed something from when they were younger, right? In the sense of whatever you taught, your environment, right? And even from whatever environment, it's just me, myself personally, like me and my brother came from the same household, right? But we're two different people.
Yes.
You know, he learned whatever he learned from that experience, and I learned whatever I learned, right? So as far as the situation with the abuser that I was with, he did have a certain upbringing where he was actually around domestic violence, right? Now, imagine a kid that sees that, and there's two different paths you can take, right?
Yes.
You can either become an abuser, or it can be someone that's an advocate against abuse.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
it's up still. So technically, in that light, it's still up to that person to kind of find their own light and find their own path, right? And then like dig out of those things. But you have to go through, to me, therapy, right? You have to meditate. You have to become, you know,
find some type of something that helps you.
And not just marijuana, okay?
Okay.
I'll just say the situation I was in was like, that was a coping mechanism. People look at me today and don't even know. I tell people I was addicted to weed. And because that person brought it into our relationship, right? And it was something that I started figuring like, oh, this will help us stay, you know, kosher. If he has it, we'll be good.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Definitely.
So but that ended up being something that I was on. Like, I mean, waking up to it, going to sleep to it. I couldn't eat if I didn't have any. That's an addiction.
Yeah,
people say that, oh, you can't get addicted to weed. You can get addicted to weed.
Any type of substance that you can't just stop like that
is an addiction.
It's addiction.
Anything that you need to do your next thing,
cope,
or to eat, or to live, or to sleep, or to go to sleep, it's an addiction. It's taking my weight away. It was like everything. And so when I tell people, oh, I've been sober for 6 years, they look at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, it's just marijuana. I'm like, it's just marijuana to you.
Yeah.
It was a thorn in my side.
Yeah.
It held me in a situation. I was captive. I would come back at times and I would leave, because you know it's moments you get into arguments and you leave.
Yeah.
Then you get a phone call. Well, I just rolled one. If you just want to come back so we can discuss.
And then you go back into your coping becomes, that's your coping at one point. You start to believe that is going to help us. Like, you know, in some sense, I used to feel like in my situation, like, oh, if I make him happy and I do these things, then he'll be all right. Because he'll be all right. If I give him some kind of type of thing he want, or if I make him feel better, then he will be all right. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It started to be like, I'm helping you more and I'm damaging myself. Yes. So I think as a victim, they would say, that's what victims do. They start damaging themselves to make the other person feel good about themselves. Uplift them. Yeah. And I think with me, I internalize a lot of things. And like you said, in your childhood, you see things, and you, in your mind, have to know what's right, what's wrong, and then you know what's right is what's wrong. But then, is that, for me, my mom and my dad were abusive to each other. Period. I can't even lie about it. Mom, sorry. But they were abusive to each other. And so I think when I went to therapy about my situation, because I was on and off with my ex for 12 years. Wow. So it was like, you know, like, why are you still around? And my therapist said, oh, you're familiar with your environment because your mom and your dad experienced it, and then you went right with the guy that did what your mom and dad do. And what did they do? They found a way to come back to each other all the time, and maybe it was something that made them come back. And with you wanted him to always feel good, like, oh, nobody can't treat him like him, or nobody. It was like I was babying him in a way, in the sense, like trying to make him feel as good as possible, because I felt like everybody didn't understand him.
Right.
And I think,
oh my goodness,
that's what they do as a abuser. They try to make you feel like you are the only one there for me. You the only one can help me. And you get that sense like, I am. So you start treating it like it's your child. It's not your
Yeah.
child. It's And I think that what my sisters, they didn't internalize it as much as I did, or I don't know, but they didn't seem like they internalized it as much as I did. Because I'm the oldest, so the oldest sees more, and they tell your mom tell you more, and you're supposed to look out for your little sister and your other, and so it's the pressure of it as well. So what about triggers? Do you guys have any triggers? Do you have any triggers that you say today you still have dealing from coming from that?
I do have triggers. I think that I'm overly critical when people are nice to me. I don't take compliments well. And that's actually, it's crazy from women or men. I don't take compliments well because I can remember in my situation, every time I thought I was being encouraged or I thought I was being complimented, it was something that was another plot against me for later. So
what do you mean another plot against you for later?
How they set you up?
They it became, the relationship became a setup. I would say even to this day, because when you, unfortunately, when you have kids with the person, it is a continual setup, which is unfortunate. But without all that stuff involved, I would just say that, like for example, if I did something that I would validate him for, and he happened to catch me off guard, like, oh yeah, like I'm so proud of you. You're this. You're doing great, and I love you. And it's like, wow, like not only are you my person that I'm with or whatever, but you've also been the person that's also treated me the worst as of lately.
So
you get that compliment. It's like, wow, this means the world. Maybe you're changing. Maybe you are. And I heavily believe in God. I have a relationship with God, so I would be like, oh wow, like maybe God is really working on him through me. And it just became this ugly cycle, to where now even being out of it, it's like if a guy is too nice to me, I'm like, so what do you really want? If people say things to me like, oh, like, no, I got you. Okay, but you got me for what reason? What is it that you're trying to have? Like I'm goofy, but I could
cut that off.
What'd you say? And it's hard because it messes with who I naturally am, who God wants me to be out here. And it's like, I am social, I am very loving. I do want to have that open space where people don't, when they meet me, they don't leave the same, like all that good stuff. But at the same time, inside of me, that's something that I'm consistently waking up, and that's on my to-do list to work on.
You have to, I think leaving a situation or even being in a situation, you constantly got to work on your mental, because it's like, okay, today, first of all, you wake up with the person, you like, okay, I don't know what today gonna bring. We gonna figure
Oh my goodness.
Because it literally gets like that. You be like, okay, so who is he today? Like, okay, we gonna get this together. Lord,
sleep with one eye open.
Yes, you don't know. I think that
turkey bacon or argument.
Man,
I don't know.
I just feel like when you wake up and you don't know what's next with that person, that's a trigger warning. That's a warning sign, period. And people don't realize that. But Sheena, you could tell me a trigger that you have that you didn't realize. Maybe this is a trigger for me.
I know. I would say because now it's been over 6 years now. I think 6-7 years since I left. So. Because it was 2014, y'all. That did the math, right?
Oh, yeah.
I left.
We remember them dates.
I left 2014. We do. September 2014.
Okay, September 14, 2000.
At 3 o'clock.
You know what? I think that's just a woman thing in general.
I was out.
We were done.
When you're done, you're done.
You did that last thing.
Yes,
and I was out.
Yeah. You know what I said? I said, God did the thing he had to do because he knew I would have stayed if he didn't do a certain thing.
Yes.
Yeah. You feel me? Like God knows us. He knows me. Spirit knows me. So it's just like, I got to do this to remove
myself. Yeah.
Because I tried to leave on my own and it didn't work.
Kept coming back.
I kept coming back, or it was just one time for real when it was like, okay, I have to leave. And then something major happened. Like he came and busted out all of my mom's windows. And so at our house. So for me, I felt a fear for her and my grandmother and my son that lived in that house.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had no protection at the time, no gun or nothing, you know. So I felt like, damn, it was really a moment of like, I gotta go back until it's time for me to leave. Like it was crazy, right? And people gonna be like, oh, you can still, nah. It was a protection moment now. It was different. And that was 2 years prior to me leaving when that happened. 2 or 3 years, you know. So I had to me, stay within that still to figure out a way to actually leave. Because now I've dug my hole. Now I've made my graveyard, you know. So, and I had to work through that. So, but when I first left, I was saying, because I'm trying to think of, so maybe it'll come to me, a trigger now, but when I first left, I would literally have dreams or like nightmares per se, thinking I'm gonna wake up and he's just in my room. Because it really got that bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it was fear.
Yeah,
it was just straight fear of like this person being in my room and taking my life. Because we were at a certain point of our lives were gonna end. The next battle, I would call it. You know, again, it wasn't a lot of physical. It was like beating me up, but it started. He would choke me. He would pin me down and he would choke me, right? And so, and again, that's different from being hit.
But that's definitely physical.
But that's definitely physical, right?
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen. That wasn't the only thing. That was when it would get to a certain point, and then it's just like, I'm gonna pin you down because whatever. I don't know why. I'm not in his head. I don't know what the heck he was doing that for, but he would pin me down, right? Like take my control away from me. That was his way of doing it. You know what I mean? And so I would have dreams. I would wake up thinking he's gonna be in my house late at night, you know. And I just, at a certain point, I couldn't wait to just leave from living there with my mom because I don't want to put them in danger, and I just didn't want him to find me. Yeah. So when I left, I tried to leave in that 2014. I actually tried to leave earlier that year in the spring, and because a really bad fight did happen. This was the first time he ever hit me. He hit me and I saw white. It never happened before. We had left a show. We used to do music together. I left the show, and before we went to the show, he was just like, I was putting on my makeup, and he got to that controlling point of like how I would dress. Why am I, performing this certain way? This, that, and the third. It was like real, everything particular. I'm in the bathroom, putting on my makeup. He come in there, and he's just like, you better not do nothing tonight. You better not trip out tonight in front of everybody. And I'm over here like, what the are you talking about? Like, I never do anything in front of people, right? Right. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Get to the show. I end up sitting a little bit away from him, but next to him. But my chair was like this, our space. That's what he tripped out on. We got in the car. That's all he was talking about. Just going on and on and on and on about how I was separate from him, right? And so he was like, I'm gonna just take you to your mom's. He would do that too. I'm gonna take you to your mom's. I'm gonna just take you out instead of going home to our house. I'm gonna take you to your mom's. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then he pulls over and like pulls me out the car and throws my headshots, rip them up. So it was a jealousy thing too. Took all my headshots out the car. Because I was really acting at that time. I had an international commercial running. I was like doing things. Tore it up, throw on trash. That's just like, this is 11:30 at night.
You mad? We doing music and stuff. You mad?
So we get to my mom's, and right before we get to the block to turn down my street, I'm quiet, you guys. I'm not even saying nothing, and then that pisses them off even more. When you're not reacting, when you're not giving them what they want, and so that's what I would experience. Because I don't argue. I don't have time for that. Like I don't be at the top of my lungs. I don't do that. Like I may have a disagreement, but I'm not about to yell, right? And then I'm not about to again go back and forth with you. I've never been that way. I'm like you said, we chill. That's just me. It's my personality.
Yeah, till you do something.
Till you do something, or just like I literally will walk away. Now, I grew up. I would fight if I had to fight, not encouraging that. But if someone came at me and I had to protect myself, I'm gonna protect myself, right? But in this situation, normally I would say my piece and then I just let it go, because then that's just me. So again, I'm quiet. I'm in the car. We're driving, and I just get hit, just like a child almost, right? Like an abusive parent to a child when they're upset at them. Just thinking about something, they just hit them. Because I didn't expect it. We're on a block going to my house. We're not like 10 minutes away. We're like a couple seconds from pulling up to my driveway, my mom's driveway, and he hits me. And it went, literally, that's all I remember is it going white. Like, I just, you see a light. I don't know, it was crazy. It never happened to me in my life, because my mom's never hit me like that. My dad's never hit me like that. No one's ever hit me like that. and it confused me. Even though, yeah, I've been with this dude for however many years and he's done whatever, that moment was like, what the just happened?
Yeah.
And that was the most abuse as far as like when that had happened, because as soon as he pulled up to my mom's, I ran up to the house. I ran to the back door and was banging on the door. The mom let me in the house because this is crazy, right? She lets me in. He come banging on the back door. Send her out. She coming home with me. My mom was like, she ain't going nowhere.
I'm gonna say your mama.
Oh yeah, mama. So look, so everybody, if you know my mama, she really tries to get me to leave that situation, you know. But she knows a person will only leave when they're ready to leave.
When they are ready.
No matter who they are, no matter what you fight for, you know what I mean? Just like us thinking we can change that person. No, it is only on that person that
they decide.
When they decide that they want to be or do something else. Right?
And that's definitely true. I believe that wholeheartedly. And for me, I always say this. I encourage my friend, if my friend is going through something, to leave. I encourage her, like, I experienced this, it only gets worse. I can only tell you so much. Yeah. But I had a friend, and I'll never forget her telling me, and I used to come to work with black eyes, maybe 2 or 3, but nobody knew. No, everybody knew. They knew that one time, but the other 2, I just covered it up. I don't even know. I didn't even wear makeup. I didn't even know what lashes was back then. But I would cover it up so well because it would be like a little dot in your eye. You'd be like, oh, you start making excuses for stuff. But anyway, she told me she said, I ain't even going to tell you anything. I'm going to just tell you this. When you're ready to leave, you will know it. It's going to be a moment, and literally it was a moment. It was one moment. I came home from a party, and my mirrors was knocked off of my car. And I was like, so we seen the first mirror. We was like, dang, they got me for my mirror. I was up in the street like they got me for my mirror, and I'm drunk with my friends. So I'm like, dang, they got me for my mirror. Like, I'm thinking somebody really did it. But then the other side, they was like, look at the other side. It's broke. It's off. I was like, oh, that was him. I instantly knew it was him because I changed my number and I was dodging him for 2 weeks, and I knew that he wanted to talk to me. And that's what he do. He would go make a big old scene so I could be like, why you do that? And that was the first time I didn't give no reaction. My number never got it again, and I went in the house, and that was the end of that. I said, just go get your mirrors fixed. There's no point of going to do the battlefield, because to me, when you constantly going back and arguing and doing all that, you are enabling that person to think that this is okay. And they're going to continue to do it till they feel like they don't have that control over you. And when they don't have that control over you, they may get mad. And we have people that experience the mad, where we see people passing away from domestic violence, and we see people staying so long that they feel like this is my life and I have to accept it. When people say, why can't you just leave? That triggers me. That's my biggest trigger, is when
why can't you just?
Why can't you just leave?
Like, it's the JUST. That's always gonna be off.
Just.
Yes.
Do you understand? And I always feel like, for me, I had that issue. My friends was like, girl, just leave. Like, what are you doing? And I hate that. I apologize to my friends years later, like, damn, I used to put y'all through all that. Because we don't be realizing how much we put on other people because of what we're going through.
And staying in it.
Yeah, and staying in it. And then they see you all still with the person, they get so. I know one friend of mine, she like, don't call me. And then, like you said, isolation. You know what was the trigger for me is that I couldn't say nothing to anybody anymore. It got that bad that I couldn't tell parents, I couldn't tell my sisters, I couldn't tell my friends. So now I'm alone in this situation. And like you said about fear, we were broken up, but I still felt like I couldn't do certain things because he's gonna get mad. And not only isolation, fear you get in domestic violence, and that feeling that you can't be without that person, or that person's gonna be hurt if you do this. You don't want to hurt them. Like, you don't want to hurt them. How do you feel that way? And this person is hurting you. You get a sense of. I used to get what is that called? I used to be in pain a lot. I didn't have no weed or anything. How I fixed the pain part is opening up to other people and talking to other people, and then people would tell me their stories. I felt like talking to people and not isolating myself helped me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't nothing else that could help me. I had to literally be myself at all times to fake it till you make it. Like when you're in pain, you like fake it. I faked enjoying myself. Mm-hmm. I faked going out like I was having fun, but all I can think of is that when I get home, all I can think of is if I'm not with him, he's gonna be mad. If I even had a problem recently thinking, not recently, but even after that situation, I said I can't have kids because he's gonna come get me. I used to think like that, like total fear. Total fear. And even some parts of LA, you still think of the moments there and what happened there. And I used to have moments where he would just leave me in the car, throw the keys, and keep walking, leave me in the car, and no keys, and stuck for hours until he felt like come back. So I say that to say this. When people say, why don't you just leave? Why does it bother you? And should you just try to leave for the people that feel like they can't? Just try to leave?
First of all.
Right, first of all.
It's the whole sentence for me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like tongue tied because I don't like that either. I feel like I can't even tell somebody that. I feel like something that is helpful instead is to, because you're right, people that really love and care about you, they get tired. Like, bro, I'm tired of you complaining about, like, leave.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And I could say the further and further, and first of all, congratulations to you guys for walking away from that. It's been some years for you. You guys are actually further away from the situation. It's still kind of close for me, so it's awesome to see. And it's empowering to see the possibility of how life can move forward.
It can and it will.
It can. Yeah. And it is.
You're going to have every emotion during this time of healing, but you're going to get the emotion that, not even survivor emotion, the emotion you should have, whatever that may be. Like me, mine's is peace. I'm at peace now with the situation. I'm not mad. Are you mad at your abuser?
Not mad at all.
Are you mad?
No. I'm not.
Every experience you have been through it was for you to experience.
Yeah.
It's a lesson, and whatever your growth may be, you will see it at the end of all of it. When it's over, you're gonna see how you've grown as a person, because you may be still hurt from it. You may still feel like I'm never gonna get to that peace, but I've gotten to that peace. Have you gotten to that peace?
Absolutely. Like I'm remarried now. I mean, I have. Thank you. I mean, a beautiful marriage. It's someone I've been friends with before I even met my ex-husband. You know what I mean?
Ain't that cool?
Ain't it? It's
They
crazy.
become a lawyer, girl.
God, you could have just put this one right
You
there.
could've just leave it at first.
Why I had to experience that before I experienced
But let me
this?
tell you, he made me go that route because my first short film, right? I mean, it's an award-winning film. It was based on that relationship. I'm trying to tell you, like, everything happens for a purpose and for a reason. Like, and us speaking this way, like, I've been speaking over your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came in, I'm speaking over her life. I'm just speaking over her. Like, girl, you gonna do this, you doing your thing.
So I appreciate it.
And so from that though, look where it brought me to here now. This is my first like podcast per se. Okay, I did one on film, but as far as domestic violence, as when she posted about it, I hit her up and I was like, I think it's time to share my story. I've never told my story ever, except for at the premiere of my short film, right? Because it was my own personal private premiere. It was just, and not even about this. It was just like this was in regards to my life, right?
Yeah.
But that's all anyone has ever known. Yeah. When I left him, he posted about me on social media, and everyone thought I died. He wrote this crazy. Oh, my phone was blowing up like it was a tabloid, y'all. Like I don't know what had happened. People were like, "Shimmy, you alright? Are you dead?" He had this post on there and was just talking like it looked like an obituary. Wow. You know,
and that's scary too.
Oh, that's hella scary.
That's manipulation.
That's manipulation. I was trying to make people not want to be around me, and but
something's wrong with you.
Yeah. It was crazy, right? And so just to, I don't know who's even getting on, but my thing is, I was speaking life into her, because I'm like, through all of that, this is the like full circle. You know what I'm saying? Like the film was amazing. That was therapeutic for me. It's a moment in the film. It was a 2-day shoot. A moment in the film. I didn't know this was gonna happen. It was a crying moment in the bathroom she was supposed to have because it's her moment of recollection. It's her moment of like, I have to make a choice. I broke down in the bathroom. They filmed it all. It was like, we filmed for like, I don't know, an hour and some change. I was just crying and I'm just giving it up and it's real. It's in the film. After that scene, we just took a breath. Like literally, I just had to go outside for some air. And we was all just like, damn, Sheen, like you even needed this moment. I thought I was done when I was done. We filmed this a year after all of this, right? But like, I had to even have that moment. And then I had a women's support group that I went in at a church I was at the time. Like, I had to rebuild myself. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't happy with me anymore because I didn't know me. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankfully my son, the oldest, he stayed with my mom during that season of my life, so he didn't have to see it, right? But he did see the absence of his mother at times, right? He did see those types of things. So now I'm mending that. You know what I'm saying? Me and my son have a wonderful relationship, but I know as a parent, those are just certain moments that it's like, damn, I'm not gonna get that back. You are blessed right now, and I know sometimes it don't feel like it at the moment, you know. And sometimes you don't even want to hear it, but it's just like it is the truth. You've really come far, and I don't even know your story. I'm just meeting you right now, you know. But
this is how far you right here.
Your light, everything that you are, and what you're sharing, it's like he can't blow that out
at all.
He can't blow. He tried.
Keep doing your music. You keep projecting. Keep getting better.
Yes.
The court's gonna figure that out.
Oh yeah, and if they don't, God got you. You know what I'm saying? Then he's gonna make it. Yeah. He softened Pharaoh's heart and he hardened Pharaoh's heart. God did both to show a proof, to show something that's real. Yeah. You feel me?
And you know what?
You feel me?
I feel you.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that because you are such a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
And it's they say God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Strongest soldiers, huh?
You feel me?
You know what? And
I'm gonna let it go.
So what is some advice? Now we're finna leave now. Okay. To the people out there, we're finna leave now. What is some advice you could give to women, or anything you want to say to women or men? Because we will have a part 2 with men about domestic violence. And do you feel like you leaving and trying to leave? Is it something you want to tell people to leave, Divine, or what do you want to say to them?
First of all, I never want to give nobody no advice. I'm big on just sharing my personal experience. Yeah. Because what may work for me may not work for your situation. Just like you said, yours wasn't as physical. Yours was extremely physical. Mine was getting there. Yeah. What I would say from my experience, if that in fact is something that you're dealing with, as cliche as it sounds, it starts with prayer. Every change, not for the other person, not for other people, every personal life change begins and ends with prayer. Something that helped me to finally make the decision to take my power back, I would go in the bathroom. I don't know why, but that was my safe space. I would go in the bathroom late at night when he was sleeping, when my child was sleeping, and I would make these videos speaking to myself and speaking life into myself. And I would look myself dead in the eye and say, God showed you what he has for you. He showed you who you are. You have the power to leave this situation. You are not stuck. And me continuing to do that built up my self-esteem. It built up my strength. And it really helped me to say enough is fucking enough. You have the power to move. And I did. So if you're listening to me, just know that male or female, if you're in a situation, and even if that thought of I'm stuck, or this is my forever, this is what God has for me, if any of that is in your mind right now, you already know what it is. You know it's time to go. Find your place in your space where you can really tap in with God and allow him to speak to you and He will show you the way. And be confident in yourself to reach out to people. Something else we didn't speak about, but isolation becomes a cold thing. When they don't want you to be your beautiful, vibrant, whatever creativity you have, isolation is key.
Always.
Yeah.
If they can get you in a spot to just, you don't have no friends. You don't, who's that? Why is that person talking? Isolation is key. Speak to people. If you don't feel like you have that strength, speak to people and start being honest about your situation, because unfortunately with domestic violence, it can end in death. And why even let it get to that point? If you know you're in a bad situation, follow your gut and get out by any means necessary. And I'm going to just leave it there.
Tashima, thank you for that. I
Thank y'all.
appreciate it.
Yeah. You know what? You have to go within. You have to go within. As Divine was saying, you have to find your power. You have to find your own power. Like, you have to find your own strength. Because as I was saying, I tried to leave 2 years prior to the major blowout. And then even that year when I finally left, I left in spring, and I went on a one-way ticket to Texas. I stayed for 30 days. I didn't even know I was going to stay for that long or how long. I didn't know what was happening. I just had to leave. I had to get out. You know, when I came back, I went right back. I went right back. When I came back, got off the plane, picked me up.
It happens.
Right? And 2-3 more months, and then that's when I was like, this is really the end. I had to end it. I had to let it go. It's literally, man, it's so funny. Like, the last moment, I was walking back to the house. It was the craziest day, and all I felt like was Jesus walking on Calvary, like, to the freaking cross. Because I knew it was going to happen. I knew something was going to happen. I walked in that door. Literally, I'm walking up the stairs, and my mind was like, leave the door unlocked so I can run back out. Crazy. These are your thoughts. This is what you're planning your escape.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I had to literally go through it though. I felt like I'm not Jesus, of course not. I'm nothing compared. I couldn't do nothing for anybody the way Jesus did, right? But my point is, I knew I was walking to an end, right? Not death for me, because even for Jesus, right? That was his rebirth, right? And I walked to mine. I knew whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And it did. When he left, I left. His whole thing was like, you stay here so I get back. I left. Then I even had my mom bring me over there to take whatever clothes I had. Because like you said, he destroyed my material things, everything, right? I only took whatever I had left, right? It'll happen when you're ready, right?
Yes.
And like you're saying, you can't just take anyone's advice in a sense, because it may not be your moment. I hate to say that to someone that may, like, they want to get out right now, and I get it. You have to find that power to get out of that, though, right? You can't. Some moments, you know what I mean. You have certain people have a different type of crazy. I'll just say that, right?
Yes.
And you just, like you said, it can end in death, right?
Yeah.
It can end in someone going to jail, and may not even be your abuser. It could be you going to jail because of something, right? It's just it's so many different situations. So that's why, as she was saying, for prayer, for me, it's meditating, it's and finding that safe space, right? We do have them. We may feel like it's not there. We may not see it at that moment, but we do have it. It's there, but you have to find it. You have to want to be free. Like, I mean, not just on a tip of just like, oh, I just need to get rid of this. I just need to go. No, you need to know everything about that and why. And this will only come from going within. You have to find that quiet space, that moment to yourself where you can go within and you can find out that you're done.
Yeah.
Because only you are going to know. My mom couldn't make me leave. A family member couldn't make me leave. A friend couldn't make me leave. I'm crying to friends and they're just like, Shima, you're going to have to go.
Yeah.
Right?
But I do want to say this to you guys. I want to say thank you for tuning in to this episode of Domestic Violence. We will have a part 2 with men, because we know men and women do suffer from this. 1 out of 3 men and women suffer from it every day. I do want to say 10 million people in the U.S. alone, cases of domestic violence. So it's so close to home, and I feel like I can't give you no advice like Divine would say. Can't give you really no advice but my experience. From my experience and what I've, the piece I'm in at this point in my life is whenever you feel not in control with yourself, like someone is, let me make that another one. Whenever you are not in control of your life, that is the time when you question everything. When someone has more control over you than you have over yourself. Questioning yourself. Overthinking, should you be in this relationship or not? That is when you should think about you first. Always choose you in every relationship. No relationship is perfect, but when you get to a point where you're not in control of who you are and you're losing yourself, then that's when you have to think about, is this relationship for you? Physically, mentally, emotionally, can you stay in this? And I'm not going to say leave, but what I am going to say, always choose you. Always choose you.
I love that.
Always choose you. All right, y'all, we good. Okay, you guys, that was Tashima. And Tashima, you want to mention your book real quick? You got a book coming out?
If she don't stop saying book, y'all, look, right now I don't have a book coming out,
You
okay?
wasn't
But
Manifesting for you.
Manifesting.
I am a trader and investor. Right now, I do have a trading versus investing session that's come up December 19th. You can find me at Just Shima Baby on Twitter and on Instagram. She's gonna post it, I'm sure, or whatever on there. But at Just Shima Baby. I'm a filmmaker, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm here to empower people. My goal is to empower 1 million people in my lifetime. I just came up with that number last year, but at first it was just I want to empower people, but it's 1 million in my lifetime, and I want to get everybody financially fit. That is my goal right now. So.
Oh, yeah. And Divine the Artist, one of my favorite rappers. Say what you wanna say your name, your Instagram, and what you wanna leave us with.
Okay. My Instagram is Divine Divine Evolution. I also do hair, so if you need your hair done, that's how I feed my baby.
Okay, you gotta say what you feed.
It's gonna be somewhere in this area.
Check me out. Check it out. Comment below. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. That was an episode, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.